Season's greetings, everybody. Mac here. Welcome back to the show. We have a very special episode today because today we are being visited by the man himself. St. Nicholas, Kris Kringle, Popo Gigio, Grandfather Frost. I am, of course, speaking of Santa Claus. Go ahead and leave us a like because today we are looking at the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura, Father Christmas. Now, granted, this figure came out in 2002. I just got a version of him for myself this year. This is the one that is only available through the Four Horsemen at Store Horseman. Time of recording, he is still available. This is the red robes version. Of course, if you want the green robes version, you can get that at Big Bad Toy Store. I will actually leave links for both versions in the show notes below, depending on which one you want. I have seen the green robed one and I really like him, but I wanted to get the red robes first, and he was at RetroCon last year, meaning 2024, but there was no Four Horsemen booth at RetroCon this year, 2025, so I wasn't able to get him. Imagine how happy I was when I saw him up for sale at Store Horseman, along with the Mouse King, Marley, and Ghost of Christmas Past. First of all, let's get this out of the way. The packaging for these Figura Obscura, especially the Christmas figures, is beautiful. This is artwork right here. I really love this, and I'm actually curious to see if the green robed version is just this, only in green. I love the font, the sort of like golden Christmas font they use down here for Father Christmas. Even the Four Horsemen logo gets a little bit of a glow up from this golden font. We have the owl up top, the shepherd's crook with the lantern hanging from it. We have a wraparound image. It says Figura Obscura in that font with the Four Horsemen key and a bit of holly hanging off of it. The stag right here. On the back, we get a very heavy write-up on the man himself. And then over here, a nighttime shot of the Christmas tree. Now, just like with Marley and the Ghost of Christmas Past, if you're not familiar with Figura Obscura, and truthfully, the only experience I have with Figura Obscura is the Christmas figures, so I don't know if all of the Figura Obscuras do this, but just like with Marley and Ghost of Christmas Past, this is a fold-out box where you can see the figure and the accessories inside, but everything is held on by magnets, so this will actually come off and works as a backdrop for you once we get Father Christmas out of his packaging. And just take a look at that. Now, the irony here is that I changed to a red background because so many of the light and white figures that I have got lost in the white background. Changing to the red background now, we may have a little bit of that issue with this one, but man does he look good. I love the gold on the robes, the black leather belt. Well, I mean, we'll get a better look at him once he's out, but looking around, there he is in his sleigh, flying through the sky, the moon up top. We just have this beautiful night scene all around the box. On the bottom, of course, we have this nonsense along with the Four Horsemen logo. Up top, we have the Four Horsemen logo in plastic, the 4H. So let's get this open because I've been sitting on this for a few days and I've been very eager and very excited to get my hands on what's inside. So without further ado, let's open this box and let's take a look at the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura Father Christmas. Okay, so here he is, Father Christmas out of the box, and using the backdrop so you can actually see him, we put the tape measure to him and see that he is roughly about 6 5/8 to the top of his head. Now, taking a look at Father Christmas, I have to say this is a beautiful, beautiful figure, but it's pretty much what I've come to expect from Four Horsemen, just in the little bit of exposure I've had to them, especially their Christmas Carol Figura Obscuras. So this figure is from 2022. I didn't pick him up in 2022, and then I didn't think he was available, and only the green version was available, but now he is available. He is back up for sale, like I said at the beginning. At Store Horseman. The Hunter Green version is at Big Bad Toy Store. Links to both in the description below. As far as I can figure out, they are the same figure. It's just one has green robes, one has red robes. Now, we are not going to look at the articulation yet. We're going to do it a little bit out of sequence, that we're going to take a look at the figure, then we're going to take a look at the accessories, then we're going to take his robe off, and then we will take a look at the articulation. And you'll see in a few minutes why we're doing it in that reverse order. But first, bringing him up front, the robes on him are fantastic. They're very lush, they're very just full and warm looking, and they have a real nice velvet feel to them. Fur around the cuffs, fur down the front of the robe, fur along the bottom of the robe, the royal purple underskirting here, and of course we have the black and gold filigree that comes down, wraps all the way around, and then comes back up. Also, we have it here around the cuffs. There is a wire in the hem of his robes right here, so you could pose this out if you would want to, which is quite frankly awesome. I don't know if I would do that too much because I kind of like just like the straight robe down look, but it is very cool that it's there. Always good to have options. The face sculpt is fantastic. This huge beard with the black wash in it so that the whiskers stand out. This fabulous mustache right here. The grayed out eyebrows and the black wash in the hair so you can see all of the strands. Very well done. Deep set eyes, just so full of wisdom, meaningful, staring out at you, basically asking if you were a good boy this year. And I love the rootiness to the skin right here because he's riding the sleigh. He's always windburned. He's always out there at night in the cold. I'm glad that he's just not like pale skinned. This makes more sense. I really, really love this. Now, he doesn't have any additional hands. He does come with a secondary face sculpt though, and it has an even fabulouser mustache, if you could believe such a thing, that you can see it sort of does the twisties at the end right here, but also the beard is much shorter. So you have a more standard sort of realistic, maybe like mall Santa beard looking right here, but this is just like old world. And this pops off. It has our standard 4 Horsemen ball joint right there. And then we just pop this back on, and voila. Gives him a bit of a different look, actually. It really does. So I'm kind of torn. Like, I do like this one, but this, like, this old school look, old world look just goes with this figure so well, especially once we put some of the accessories on him. So we can pop this off, but before we put this headpiece back on, there's one more addition to this robe that we need to take a look at. And that is this hood that is a separate piece. It has this shoulder bit that comes around here, and at first glance, it is a very tall hood, and it doesn't look like it would fit his head very well. You can see we have these metal clasps right here, that these come together, and then we bring it down over his shoulders, fold the hood back, pop the head back on, and then the beard holds down the front of the hood. And even though it's a cloth hood with a wire in it, and I had just mentioned on Sunday's Show and Tell that cloth hoods don't really lay well on figures, look at that. Look at the engineering and thought 4 Horsemen put behind this. Oh, let's straighten this out a little bit. To get it to actually make this triangle to peak on top of his head and look like it's just resting there. You don't even have to play with the wire. Actually, there is no wire in here. I mean, there is down here, it feels like, but here it feels like it's just the hood. Look at the design, the engineering, the effort they put into this. This is one of the best cloth goods hoods that we've seen on a figure. Whoop, I bent it a little. That we've seen on a figure in a very, very long time. Almost forgot. Let's move his arms and his beard out of the way. While we're looking at the detail, look at the gold on this like iconic gold belt buckle right here. Look at the detail they put into the belt to make it look like this old worn leather with the gold clasp on this pouch back here as well. Everything about this guy, everything about this figure just looks fantastic. Look how good he looks with this headpiece on. I never would have thought we could get a cloth goods hood that would rest on a figure like that. This is fantastic. Look at that. I mean, come on. Now, taking a look at some of his accessories, the first thing we will look at is his shepherd's staff right here. This is big. This is gorgeous. I love the detail on this. I love the detail in the woodwork, especially up here at the head where you can see like the wood grain. And then we have this sort of brass ring down here. Now, it does turn. It feels like this is definitely two pieces. And at first I thought maybe it popped apart. But I can't get it to do that, and I'm not going to force it because I'm worried I'm going to break it. But even though he doesn't have additional hands, he does have two gripping hands that we can just run this down through the top of his hand. Look at how tall this thing is going to be compared to him. Oh, a little bit more. Finding that perfect height is the only trick. There we go. His shepherd's staff. Look at how tall that thing is compared to him. And then just like you saw in or on the front of the box, there is a lantern that hangs from it. Once again, look at the detail work on the metal work on the top of the lantern right here. The lit candle on the inside, the sort of smoked aged glass like it hasn't been cleaned in a while. And we can just hang that from the shepherd's crook right there. And look at that. Look at just how fantastic this looks. I mean, if all we had was this, that would be a complete figure right there. But there is more that we have to take a look at. And one of the things that I thought was really adorable that we got that I wasn't expecting is this little tree. There is a pipe cleaner in there that makes it bend. It comes in 3 pieces. And the trunk right here is not easy getting it on there without bending the tree a little bit. But once it's there and it fits into this snowy base, like that's just a very cool diorama piece to have with Father Christmas right here, especially when you consider that we have that backdrop that we can set up. And then this just gives it like an extra third dimension, which is fantastic. Now, if you don't want to put his hood up, let's bring that down. He does come with holly wreaths that he can wear. Now we have 2 of them right here, and you can see that they're both shaped. But they're shaped slightly different because I think the 2 head sculpts have different shapes. You can see that there's a little bit more hair here on the sides, than there is on this one. So that's why we have 2 different headpieces, or holly wreaths. The trick is figuring out which goes to which sometimes. Okay, it looks like that one fits on him. It's a little crooked. So then that means this one must fit on him. There we go. And can you do this? Will it work? I haven't tried this yet. Yep. He can be wearing both. He can have the hood and the holly wreath around his head, so you can see that peeking out from underneath the hood. I am loving this figure more and more. This makes up for not getting the Ghost of Christmas Present this year, to be honest. Because now if you get the green one, I might get the green one and he might stand in for present until that one comes out. Now, in addition to Santa, in addition to the 2 head sculpts, everything we're taking a look at here, what would Santa be without gifts? Whoops. The shepherd's staff does add some weight to him. So he really has to... You have to get him in a decent stance. There we go. So like I was saying, what would Santa be without gifts? We have this great drum right here, and this has a hook that we can hang it off of his belt. He can carry most of the gifts that he comes with. And then he has a trumpet right here, which this is just a cool trumpet. I mean, let's be honest. Like, we might have some figures that will be getting this trumpet for Christmas this year. We have Elf on a Shelf. Go figure. A little toy elf right here. And then we have this bag of toys that is just thrown over his shoulder. So let's take this off for a moment. And let's work on getting these in. So like the trumpet can go in a pocket right here, can it? Whoop. Let's see. The trumpet is a little delicate, to be honest. I'm a little nervous about the trumpet. And then we can put the elf in a pocket, I feel, so that he's peeking out a little bit. And then the drum, lift his arm. We can hang off of his belt on this side. So that's hanging off of him. And then his satchel should be able to slip over his head and over his shoulder. Maybe this has to come off before we do that. Give me a second. Okay, yeah, that was the best thing I could do is I popped the head off and I took the hood piece off here. You can see that the strap from his satchel is riding up under the mantle right here so that it is slung across his shoulders. It's over this shoulder and underneath this arm. So that was the best way I could do it, to have him, tuck away, to have it slung over his shoulder. Now let's put the shepherd's staff back in there. There we go. So that is what he comes with out of the packaging. Now, we also have this sack of toys. This is actually a cloth sack that has a tied off string. Now, full disclosure, I've actually already opened this and taken a look at what's inside, and then I was able to tie it back up. Now, I have often said that these fingers do not handle thin pieces. They are not very dexterous. So like something like this should have been difficult for me to do. But because there is enough play in the bag, in the sack, and we have these knots at the end of this twine that they use to make the rope, even for me, it wasn't difficult to get this retied. So if I was able to do it, you'll probably be able to do it. You may need a set of like heavy tweezers to get that first loop through, but it can be done, especially since they took the time to have this attached to the sack so that this isn't just floating loose. Now, what's inside here is more toys. We have this ducky. We have this, which we will be taking a look at in a moment. And we have this, which we will be taking a look at in a moment. And we have, oh, we have a puppy. I missed that we have a puppy. This is supposed to be like a real puppy. I don't think this is like a stuffed animal. I think this is supposed to be like somebody got a real puppy for Christmas. That is adorable. So we have all of the presents that he's carrying. We have these two animals right here. Whoops, a duck and a pup. And then we have these two head sculpts. Let's get everything into the shot that we can for right now. We have these two head sculpts, and these are two knighted helmets. We have this one, which looks very cool. This sort of like burnished gunmetal right there. That looks real cool. And then we have this one that I believe is more of a French style, which is actually one that I really like. I kind of wish I could get my hands on a green version of this to go with that green knight that I have. But you may be wondering, why do we have these two helmets? And that is going to bring us to the moment of taking off Santa's robes. So let's take the robes off, let's take the undergarment off, and let's see what we have going on under here. First, we're going to pop the head off. Santa's belt does not come apart up front. This piece right here is actually the clasp. You can see there's a little peg and socket back here. And then we can open these up, and we have metal clasps in there, just like we did with the hood, that we can Oh, come on, come on, come on. Unclasp that. Pull his arms back. Slide the robe off. You can already start to see what's happening here. And then this just velcros down the back. We can peel this off. And there is a knight underneath. So let's take this helm and pop this on. It's a little large, I'm not gonna lie. Holy cow, that is large. Let's see how the other one looks on him. Okay, so these helmeted heads are huge on this body. He definitely needs some sort of shoulder armor going on here, but he does have a knighted body, like an armored body here underneath. I don't know what this body is from. Being relatively new to the Four Horsemen, I don't know if this is some particular type of body, some particular type of buck that we have going on here. Hold on, there's one other thing I want to try. Let me pop that off. Let me bring in my Green Knight, and let me see if it's just that those helmets are huge. Okay, that is roughly about the right sized body, but wow. Wow, do the helmeted heads look huge on this guy. Because if we take this and we put it on him, and we imagine that this is green, well, that actually looks like something out of Labyrinth. And now we take my favorite and we put it on. And man, do I wish that was painted green. I would love to put that one on him. But that's what we have underneath, is this skinny little armored body that now I'm very curious as to what this originally was. Even with Santa's head on, he looks kind of skinny. Was this like an elf buck or something? But now that we have it off, let's take a look at the articulation, that the head will do a full 360 spin. Even with this big beard, you can see that when he looks to the side, the beard will conform to the arm. Looks a little weird, but it does let you move his head around. Worth noting that even when the robe is on, this will work. He can look up okay, he can look down not really because the beard gets in the way. He has tilt side to side. Arms will do a full 360. Arms will come up past 90. Single jointed elbow, hinge and swivel. Wrists pivot, wrists hinge in and out. Let's get them up out of the way. There is a torso cut right here that will let you do a full 360 spin. We'll lean back a little bit. We'll lean forward a little bit. Has tilt side to side. Nothing here at the waist. Oh, wait, there is. I'm sorry. There is just a pivot here at the waist. I'm guessing maybe this is an old body. Legs will come up to 90. Legs will go way back. Legs will come out to the side very well. We have a thigh cut instead of that ball joint right there. Single jointed knees. Does it have a hinge and swivel? It does have a swivel below the knee. So it will do that, which doubles as like a boot cut, I suppose. And then the ankles will rock back. The ankles will rock forward. There is a forward-facing pin for some rocker, but there is also an ankle twist right here, which truthfully, once we get the robes back on him, I feel like that will work better than the turn here. Maybe the thigh, because it moves very smoothly. But I feel like this is going to be where most of your foot turning is going to come from. So that is what is underneath the robes. When I first saw that, before I took the robes off completely, and I saw that there was sort of like this armored buck underneath. Oh, and the gauntlets pivot as well. And I saw there was this armored buck underneath. I legitimately thought that they had given us a way to like double up the body for this. But there is no way these heads were meant to go on this buck. That is just too huge compared to the rest of it. Like, I get why they used this smaller body, especially when you consider that you have these heavy robes on there. So I thought there was going to be a surprise that it was going to be like a 2-in-1 figure, because the Figura Obscura, at least with like Marley and the Ghost of Christmas Past, they gave some parts that you could just make like a ghost creature for like Halloween or a regular all-year display. I thought maybe they had done the same thing with this, but there's no way that is meant to be anything. Also, I want to note, because I did miss it before, I didn't realize until I was putting the robes back on him, that there's even a wire in the cuffs right here, so you can mold the cuffs to however you want them to hang whenever you put his arms up or pose him. And now for size comparison, here he is beside Jada Toys, Rankin and Bass, Frosty the Snowman, and Fresh Monkey Fiction Sergeant Santa from the Naughty or Nice collection. Here he is beside Hasbro Marvel Legends Blade and Psylocke, because what other Marvel Legends do I have to put him next to? Here he is beside Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series Snowman Trooper and Nutcracker Death Trooper. Here he is beside Nacelle, Sectars Warriors of Symbion, Dargon and Stellara. And finally, here he is beside Shooter and me from the G.I. Joe Night Force. Okay, so I know you wanted to see Father Christmas beside the Ghost of Christmas Past and Marley, and so did I, truthfully, but I have them posed and on display, and I didn't want to break them down and take them back upstairs to the studio. So here he is beside the Ghost of Christmas Past, and here he is beside Marley. Marley's a little bit bigger, but he's just a big figure in general. I still think the green-robed version of this is probably going to be a stand-in for Ghost of Christmas Present until Present comes out. So my first exposure to this figure was actually at RetroCon. I was talking to a vendor about 4 Horsemen. Actually, I was talking about how I hadn't been able to pick up the Headless Horseman, a figure I still don't have my hands on because I'm kind of holding out for the original black version. But he asked me, did you see the Father Christmas figure? This was about the time that it came out. I think this was 2022 when this figure first came out. And I said, no, I haven't seen it yet. And he was very emphatic that, oh, you got to go check that out. You got to see it. It is a beautiful figure. And I walked past the 4 Horsemen booth and I saw it out. And I saw it from a distance and I thought, yeah, it's nice. It's okay. It wasn't something I was really looking for at the time. Man, am I glad they still have this on Store Horsemen. This is fantastic. Quite honestly, like, this is Santa Claus. This is the old Victorian world Father Christmas. This is a beautiful, beautiful figure. There's not as much detail, because normally that's one of the things that I love about the 4 Horsemen is like, oh, there's a lot of detail to this, there's a lot of fine sculpt to this, there's a lot of paying attention to the paint apps for this, but in this, quite honestly, it's all in the robe. Really. The cloth goods robe, how it lays on him, how it looks on him. Have you ever seen a cloth goods hood fit a figure so well? It looks beautiful. That long beard, the toys that he can just have hanging off of him, the backdrop that it comes with, the cloth goods sack that he has. Everything about this is just like, it's Christmas. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. The shepherd's cane that he has with the lantern hanging off of it. This is so good. Like, I'm not even upset that, like, what I thought was going to be like a knight's body underneath with those 2 helmeted head sculpts, which I still don't get why we have them with this figure. But I don't care because everything else is just so perfect. Like, even the backdrop works so well for this. You saw me using it during this video so that, like, the red of my background wouldn't wash him out. And it looks great. Like, honestly, I'm going to put this backdrop out when I display him over the holiday season. I mean, this is fantastic. The only thing that he needs is, like, a real, not a real, but, like, a Christmas tree. He comes with that little pine tree there, but, like, I'm thinking of getting one of those, you know, miniature Christmas trees that have that look and feel that they're real, and maybe they have some LEDs in them or something. I don't know, like, just something that's a little bit larger, a little bit more decorated, and he can put these presents under the tree around it. I'm very excited about this whole thing. He is a great addition to the holiday season, and like I said, if you still want one, he is available in the red robes at Store Horseman, link in the show notes below. Or if you want the green version, which I do think I'm going to get the green version now, if for no other reason, to use him in lieu of Ghost of Christmas Present until we get that one, because I think it'll be a pretty good stand-in. So, links to both of those in the show notes below. If you want him, if he looks like something you'd want, go get him. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. I mean, it's for Horsemen. Come on, it's going to be great. You know it is. Happy holidays, everyone. It is my favorite time of the year. It is the best time of the year, and I thank you all for spending some of your time this Christmas season with me. If you'd like to grace me with a gift this year, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's easy, it's free, and it's the best way to support the show and help fight through the YouTube algorithm. If you would care to help the show in other ways, check out my Ko-fi page, link in the show notes below, or become a YouTube channel member, button below. I invite you to come back every night through the month of December for our Advent calendar opening. It is one of my longest running traditions, and honestly, it is my first tradition here on the show. So until the next night, my friends, play well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, Merry Christmas.